The leadership lessons in a soccer team. The rain was falling hard that afternoon, the kind of rain that soaks your soul before your skin. The stadium lights flickered through the mist, and the stands were silent except for a few loyal fans clutching wet banners. In the locker room, a group of teenage players sat quietly, some lacing their boots, others staring blankly at the floor. They were once called the Invincibles. But now, after losing 5 games in a row, they were being called something else, the broken team. Coach Daniel, a man in his 40s with tired eyes and a calm voice, stood before them holding the captain's armband. His captain, Ethan, had torn his knee in the previous match and was sitting with crutches beside him. The air was heavy with disappointment. "Do you still believe you can win?" Daniel asked softly. No one answered. Not even Ethan. The coach took a deep breath and looked at each player. Then he said something that would change everything. Leadership isn't about shouting orders, it's about lifting others when they've fallen. Today, I'm not asking who's the best player, I'm asking who will lead. A murmur spread through the room. No one moved, until finally a quiet hand rose. Liam, the team's youngest midfielder, only 16. He wasn't the fastest or the strongest, but he had something that couldn't be measured on a scoreboard: heart. Coach Daniel nodded slowly. "Then lead us, Liam," he said. And with that, the armband changed hands. The whistle blew, and the game began. The other team was stronger, faster, and more confident. Within 15 minutes, the scoreboard read 2-0. Liam's teammates began to crumble. One slammed his fist into the grass, another shouted in frustration. It felt like defeat all over again. But Liam didn't give up. He clapped his hands and shouted, "Come on, we're still in this. Let's fight for every ball." His voice wasn't loud, but there was something about it. A spark of belief that cut through the rain. And something strange happened, the others began to respond. A defender who'd been silent all season started yelling directions. The striker, who'd lost his confidence, fought harder for the ball than ever before. By halftime, it was 2-1. Not a comeback yet, but something inside the team had shifted. As they walked into the locker room, Coach Daniel smiled faintly. He didn't speak for a moment, just watched them catch their breath. Then he said, "You see, courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move forward despite the fear." Liam nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. He finally understood. Leadership begins with courage, not control. The second half started with renewed energy. Every pass, every tackle, every shout from the crowd, it felt alive again. But then, disaster struck. A miscommunication between defenders led to another goal. 3-1. The crowd groaned. One of the defenders yelled, "That was your fault." Another shot back, "You weren't even watching." It was chaos. The same old problem, blame. Liam ran between them and shouted, "Enough. We win together, we lose together. No more blame, we fight as one." Something in his voice carried weight. The arguing stopped. Even the coach nodded silently from the sidelines. They regrouped. Every pass now had purpose. Every player looked out for the other. In the 75th minute, Liam intercepted a pass, dribbled through 2 defenders, and sent a perfect cross to the striker. Goal. 3-2. The stadium erupted. But Liam didn't celebrate, he pointed at his teammates and yelled, "All of us. That's our goal." The commentator later said, that moment was when they became a team again. Time was running out. 5 minutes left on the clock. The rain had turned into a storm. Mud covered their jerseys, and every breath felt heavier. Liam was exhausted, but he remembered the coach's words, "Leadership is not about being the best, it's about bringing out the best in others." So he kept shouting encouragement, even when his legs burned. "Keep going. Just one more run. Then, in the final minute, a foul was called. Free kick, 20 yards from the goal. The crowd held its breath. Everyone expected the star striker to take it. But he turned to Liam and said, "You take it, Captain." Liam's heart pounded. The ball was slippery, the rain relentless. He closed his eyes and whispered, "This is for all of us." He took a deep breath, ran forward, and struck the ball perfectly. The shot curled over the wall of defenders, kissed the crossbar, and dropped into the net. Goal. 3-3. The crowd exploded with cheers. The final whistle blew seconds later. They hadn't won, but they hadn't lost either. And that draw felt like victory. Liam collapsed to his knees, tears mixing with the rain. Ethan, still on crutches, came to him and smiled. "You didn't just lead them," he said softly. "You changed them." The locker room after the match was quiet. But this time, not with disappointment. It was the quiet of pride, of a team that had rediscovered its heartbeat. Coach Daniel entered, still soaked from the rain. He looked at his players, their jerseys muddy, their eyes shining with emotion. He smiled and said, "You didn't just play football today. You learned what leadership really means." Everyone turned toward Liam, who still held the captain's armband. Coach Daniel continued, "Leadership isn't a title, it's a responsibility. It's the courage to speak when others are silent, to stand tall when others bend, and to believe when no one else does." He paused, then pointed to the scoreboard. 3-3 doesn't show your victory, he said. It shows your growth. You fought for each other, and that's what makes teams, families, and leaders. The players clapped softly. Liam smiled humbly, knowing the real victory wasn't on the field. It was within them. Weeks passed. The team began winning again. Not because they were stronger, but because they were united. They laughed more, trusted more, and helped each other rise. Liam's leadership had ignited something far beyond tactics or talent. One afternoon after practice, Coach Daniel called Liam aside. "Do you know why I chose you that day?" he asked. Liam shook his head. "I thought it was because no one else wanted to," he said. The coach smiled. "No," he replied. "I chose you because you listened. When others complained, you cared. When others doubted, you believed. That's the heart of every true leader." Liam looked down at the muddy field, the same place where he had once doubted himself. He realized something powerful. Leadership begins the moment you stop asking to lead, and start serving instead. Months later, at the final game of the season, the stadium was packed. The team stood shoulder to shoulder, no longer the broken team, but a family bound by trust. They won that day. But more importantly, they earned respect. Reporters asked Liam afterward, "What changed this season? How did you turn it around?" He smiled and said, "It wasn't just me. It was all of us. We learned that success isn't about goals or trophies. It's about lifting each other higher." The audience applauded. But for Liam, the greatest applause came from within. He had discovered that the world doesn't need more bosses, it needs more leaders with heart. The story of Liam and his team isn't just about soccer. It's about life. In every family, workplace, or dream, there will come a time when everything seems lost. When people stop believing. And in those moments, leadership isn't about control, it's about connection. It's about being the voice that says, "We can still do this," when everyone else is silent. It's about giving hope when others give up. It's about unity over ego, and perseverance over pride. Remember, true leadership doesn't demand followers, it inspires them. So, when life feels like a stormy field, when the rain of doubt keeps falling, and everyone around you is ready to quit, be the one who stands tall. Be the Liam in your team. Encourage others, believe louder, and never forget. Your attitude can change the entire game, because sometimes the best victories aren't about winning the match. They're about winning hearts. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that leadership is about lifting others and not standing above them, then don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to LAMRE, where we learn, aspire, master, reflect, and evolve together. Remember, you don't need to wear a captain's armband to be a leader, you just need the courage to care. This is LAMRE, where stories inspire leaders.